Chapter 1 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Phil Shinver. Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. The Creatures Go to the Barbecue. "Once 'pon a time," said Uncle Remus to the little boy. "But when was once upon a time?" the child interrupted to ask. The old man smiled. "I 'speck 'twuz one time or two times, an' maybe a time an' a half. You know, when Johnny Ash cake 'gun ter bake. Well, 'twuz long in dem days. Once 'pon a time," he resumed, "Mr. Man had a gyarden so fine dat all de neighbors come ter see it. Some 'ud look at it over de fence, some 'ud peek thoo de cracks, an' some 'ud come an' look at it by de light er de stars. An' one un um wuz ol' Brer Rabbit. Starlight, moonlight, cloudlight, de night light wuz de light fer him. When de turn er de mornin' come, he 'uz allers up an' about, a feelin' purty well, I thank you, suh. Now, den, you done hear what I say. Dar wuz Mr. Man, yander wuz de gyarden, an' here wuz ol' Brer Rabbit." Uncle Remus made a map of this part of the story by marking in the sand with his walking cane. "Well, dis bein' de case, what you speck gwine ter happen? Nothin' in de roun' worl' but what been happenin' sence greens an' sparrowgrass wuz planted in de groun'. Dey look fine, an' dey tas'e fine, an' 'long to'rds de shank er de mornin', Brer Rabbit 'ud creep thoo de crack er de fence an' nibble at um. He'd take de greens, but leave his tracks, mo' speshually right atter a rain. Takin' an' leavin', it's de way er de worl'. Well, one mornin', Mr. Man went out in his truck patch an' he fin' sump'n missin': a cabbage here, a turnip dar, an' a mess er beans yonder. An' he ax, how come dis? He look 'roun', he did, an' he seed Brer Rabbit's tracks what he couldn't take wid 'im. Brer Rabbit had lef' his shoes at home an' come barfooted. So Mr. Man, he call his dogs: 'Here, Buck! Here, Brinjer! Here, Blue!' an' he sicc'd um on de track, an' here dey went. Ooh, you'd 'a' thunk dey wuz runnin' atter 40 livin' rhinoceroses fum de fuss dey made. Brer Rabbit, he hear um comin', an' he put out fer home, kinder doublin' 'roun' like he do deze days. When he got ter de p'int whar he kin set down fer ter rest his face an' his han's, he tuck a poplar leaf an' he 'gun ter fan hisse'f. Den Brer Fox come a trottin' up. He say, 'Brer Rabbit, what's all dis fuss I hear in de woods? What de name er goodness do it mean?' Brer Rabbit kinder scratch his head an' 'low, 'Why, deyer tryin' fer ter drive me ter de big barbecue on de creek. Dey all ax me, an' when I 'fuse, dey say dey gwineter ter make me go anyhow. Dey ain't no fun in bein' ez populous ez what I is, Brer Fox. Ef you wanter go, des git in ahead er de houn's an' go lickety split down de big road.' Brer Fox roll his little eyes an' lick his chops whar he dribble at de mouf, an' put out ter de barbecue, an' he ain't mo' dan made his disappearance 'fo' here come Brer Wolf, an' when he got de news, off he put, an' he ain't mo'n got outer sight 'fo' here come ol' Brer B'ar, an' when he hear talk er de bakin' meat an' de big pan er gravy, he sot up on his behime legs an' snorted. Den off he put, an' he ain't got outer hearin' 'fo' Brer Coon come rackin' up, an' when he got de news, he put out. So dar dey wuz, an' what you gwine do about it? It seem like dey all got in front er de dogs got behime um, an' Brer Rabbit sot by de creek side laughin' an' hittin' at de snake doctors. An' dem po' creeturs had ter go clean past de barbecue, ef dey wuz any barbecue, which I don't skacely 'speck der wuz. Dat what made me say what I does. When you git a invite to de barbecue, you better fin' out when an' whar it's at, an' who's runnin' it." End of chapter 1. Chapter 2 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. Brer Rabbit's Frolic. The little boy, when he next saw Uncle Remus after hearing how the animals went to the barbecue, wanted to know what happened to them. He was anxious to learn if any of them were hurt by the dogs that had been chasing Brother Rabbit. The old darky closed his eyes and chuckled. "You sho is askin' sump'n now, honey." Under his hat, if he had any, Brer Rabbit had a mighty quick thinkin' apparatus, an' mos'en generally all de time de pranks he played on de yuther creeturs pestered 'em both ways a comin' an' a gwine. De dogs done mighty well long ez dey's had dealin' wid de little fry like Brer Fox an' Brer Coon an' Brer Wolf, but when dey run agin ol' Brer B'ar, dey sho struck a snag. De most vig'rous wuz de identical one dat got de wust hurted. He got too close ter Brer B'ar, an' when he look at hisse'f in runnin' water, he tuck notice dat he wuz split wide open fum flank ter dewlap. Atter de ruckus wuz over, de creeturs hobbled off home de best dey could an' laid 'roun' in sun an' shade fer ter let de cuts an' gashes git good an' well. When dey got so dey could sagactuate an' pay der party calls, dey 'greed fer ter ensemble somewhars an' hit on some plan fer ter outdo Brer Rabbit. Well, dey had der ensembly, an' dey j'ared an' j'ared des like yo' pa do when he ain't feelin' right well. But bimeby dey 'greed 'pon a plan dat look like it might ought work. Dey 'greed fer ter make out dat dey gwine ter have a dance. Dey know dat ol' Brer Rabbit wuz allers keen fer dat, an' dey say dey'll give 'im an invite, an' when he got dar, dey'll ax him fer ter play de fiddle, an' ef he 'fuse, dey'll close in on 'im an' make way wid 'im. So fur, so good. But all de time dey wuz jowerin' an' confabbin', ol' Brer Rabbit wuz settin' in a shady place in de grass, a hearin' eve'y word dey say. When de time come, he crope out, he did, an' run 'roun', an' de fust news dey knowed, here he come down de big road, boogity boogity, same ez a hoss dat's broke thoo de pastur' fence. He sezee, "Why, hello, frien's, an' howdy too, kaze I ain't seed you all sence de las' time. Whar de name er goodness is you been deze odd come shorts? An' how did you fare at the barbecue? Ef my two eyeballs ain't gone an' got crooked, dar's ol' Brer B'ar, him er de short tail an' sharp tush, de ve'y one I'm a huntin' fer. An' dar's Brer Coon. I sho is in big luck. Dar's gwineter be a big frolic at Miss Meadow's, an' her an' de gals want Brer B'ar fer ter show 'em de Rosin-Y'all shuffle, an' dey put Brer Coon down fer de jig dey calls Rack Back Davy. I'm ter play de fiddle, sump'n I ain't done sence my oldest gal had de mumps an' de measles, befo' de same day an' hour. Well, dis mornin' I tuck down de fiddle fum whar she wuz a hangin', an' drawed de bow backerds an' fur'ards a time er two, an' den I shot my eyes an' hit some er de ol' time chunes, an' when I come ter myse'f, dar wuz my whole blessed fambly skippin' an' a sashayin' 'roun' de room, spite er de fack dat breakfus wuz ter be cooked. Wid dat, Brer Rabbit bowed, he did, an' went back down de road like de dogs wuz atter him." "But what happened then?" the little boy asked. "Nothin' 'tall," replied Uncle Remus, taking up the chuckle where he had left off. "De creeturs ain't had no dance, an' when dey went ter Miss Meadow's, she put her head out de winder an' say ef dey don't go off fum dar she'll have de law on um." End of chapter 2. Chapter 3 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. Brother Bear's Big House. "Of all the creeturs," said Uncle Remus, in response to a questioning look on the part of the little boy, "ol' Brer B'ar had the biggest an' de warmest house. I dunno why ner wharfo', but I'm a tellin' you de plain fack, des ez dey done tol' unter me. Ef I kin help it, I never will be deceivin' you ner lead you inter no bad habits. Yo' pappy trotted wid me a mighty long time, an' ef you'll ask him, he'll tell you dat de one thing I never did do wuz ter deceive him whiles he had his eyes open, not ef I knows myse'f. Well, ol' Brer B'ar had de big house I'm a tellin' you 'bout. Ef he ever is brag on it, it ain't never come down ter me, yet dat is what he had, a big house, an' plenty er room fer him an' his fambly, an' he ain't had no mo' dan he need, 'kase all er his fambly wuz fat an' had what folks call heft, de natchural plumpness. He had a son name Simon, an' a gal name Sue, not countin' his ol' 'oman, an' dey all live wid one an'er day atter day, an' night atter night. An' when one un um went abroad, dey'd be 'spected home 'bout meal time, ef not befo', an' dey segashuated right along fum day ter day, washin' der face an' han's in de same wash pan in de back po'ch, an' wipin' on de same towel, same ez all happy famblies allers does. Well, time went on an' fotched de changes dat might be 'spected, an' one day der come a mighty knockin' on Brer B'ar's door. Brer B'ar, he holler out, he did, "Who dat come a knockin' dis time er de year, 'fo' de corn's done planted an' de cotton crops pitched?" De one at de do' make a big noise an' rattle de hinges. Brer B'ar holler out, he did, "Don't tar down my house. Who is you anyhow, an' what you want?" An' de answer come, "I'm one, an' darfo' not two. Ef you're mo' dan one, who is you, an' what you doin' in dar?" Brer B'ar, he sezee, "I'm all de one an' mighty nigh two, but I thank you fer ter tell me yo' full fambly name." Den de answer come, "I'm de knocker an' de mover befo', an' ef I can't climb over, I'll climb under ef you do but gi' me de word. Some calls me Brer Polecat, an' some a big word dat it ain't wuff while ter 'member. But I wanter move in. It's mighty col' out here, an' all I meets tells me it's mighty warm in dar whar you is." Den ol' Brer B'ar say, sezee, "It's warm 'nuff fer dem what stays in here, but not nigh so warm fer dem on de outside. What does you reely want?" Brer Polecat 'spon', he said, "I wants a heap er things dat I don't git. I'm a mighty good housekeeper, but I takes notice dat dere's mighty few folks dat wants me ter keep house fer 'em." Brer B'ar say, sezee, "I ain't got no room fer no housekeeper. We ain't skacely got room fer ter go ter bed. Ef you kin keep my house on de outside, you're mighty welcome." Brer Polecat say, "You may think you ain't got no room, but I bet you got ez much room ez anybody what I know. Ef you let me in dar one time, I boun' you I'll make all de room I want." Uncle Remus paused to see what effect this statement would have on the little boy. He closed his eyes as though he were tired, but when he opened them again he saw the faint shadow of a smile on the child's face. "'Tain't gwine ter hurt you fer ter laugh a little bit, honey. Brer Polecat come in Brer B'ar's house, an' he had such bad breff dat dey all hatter git out, an' he stayed an' stayed twel time stopped runnin' agin him." End of chapter 3. Chapter 4 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. Brer Rabbit treats the creeturs to a race. One sultry summer day, while the little boy was playing not far from Uncle Remus's cabin, a heavy black cloud made its appearance in the west and quickly obscured the sky. It sent a brisk gale before it, as if to clear the path of leaves and dust. Presently there was a blinding flash of lightning, a snap and a crash, and with that the child took to his heels and ran to Uncle Remus, who was standing in his door. "Dar now!" he exclaimed, before the echoes of the thunder had rolled away. "Dat dust and wind and rain puts me in mind of de time when ol' Brer Rabbit got up a big race fer ter pleasure de yuther creeturs. It was de mos' funniest race you ever heard tell on. Brer Rabbit went way off in de woods twel he come ter de Rainmaker's house. He knocked and went in, and he ax de Rainmaker ef he kin fix it up so dey kin have a race 'tween Brer Dust and Cousin Rain, fer ter see which kin run de fastest. De Rainmaker growled and jowered, but bimeby he 'gree, an' he say dat ef 'twuz anybody but Brer Rabbit, he wouldn't give it but one thunk. Well, dey fixed de day, dey did, an' den Brer Rabbit put out ter whar de creeturs wuz stayin' an' told um de news. Dey dunner know how Brer Rabbit know, but dey all wanter see de race. Now him an' de Rainmaker had fixed it up so dat de race would be right down de middle er de big road, an' when de day come, dar's whar he made de creeturs stan'. Brer B'ar at de bend in de road, Brer Wolf a little furder off, an' Brer Fox at a p'int whar de crossroads wuz. Brer Coon an' Brer Possum an' de yuthers he scattered about up an' down de road. To dem what has ter wait, it seem like de sun stops an' all de clocks wid 'im. Brer B'ar done come growlin', Brer Wolf some howlin', an' Brer Possum some laughin', but atter while cloud come up from some'rs. 'Twa'n't such a big cloud, but Brer Rabbit knowed dat Cousin Rain wuz in dar 'long wid Uncle Win'. De cloud crope up, it did, twel it got right over de big road, an' den it kinder drapped down a little closer ter de groun'. It look like it kinder stop like a buggy fer Cousin Rain ter git out, so dar'd be a fa'r start. Well, he got out, kaze de creeturs kin see 'im, an' den Uncle Win', he got out. An' den, gentermens, de race begun fer ter commence. Uncle Win' hept up befo'. He had his bellows wid 'im, an' he blowed it. Brer Dust got up fum whar he wuz layin' at, an' come down de road a whirlin'. He stricken ol' Brer B'ar fust, den Brer Wolf, an' den Brer Fox, an' atter dat all de yuther creeturs, an' it come mighty nigh smifflicatin' um. Not never in all yo' born days is you ever heard such coughin' an' sneezin', such snortin' an' wheezin'. An' dey all look like dey wuz painted red. Brer B'ar sneeze so hard dat he hatter lay down in de road, an' Brer Dust come mighty nigh buryin' 'im. An' 'twuz de same wid de yuther creeturs. Dey got de years, de noses, an' de eyeses full. An' den Cousin Rain come along a pursuin' Brother Dust, an' he come mighty nigh drownin' 'em. He lef um kivered wid mud, an' dey wuz wuss off dan befo'. It wuz de longest 'fo' dey kin git de mud out'n de eyes an' de ears, an' when dey git so dey kin see a leetle bit, dey tuck notice dat Brer Rabbit, stidder bein' full er mud, wuz ez dry ez a chip, ef not dryer. It made um so mad dat dey all put out atter him an' try der level best fer ter ketch, but ef der wuz anything in de roun' worl' dat Brer Rabbit's got, it's soople foots, an' 'twa'n't no time, fer de yuther creeturs can't see ha'r ner hide un 'em. All de same, Brer Rabbit ain't bargain fer ter have two races in de same day. "But, Uncle Remus," said the little boy, "which beat, Brother Dust or Cousin Rain?" The old man stirred uneasily in his chair and rubbed his chin with his hand. "Dey tells me," he responded cautiously, "dat when Cousin Rain can't see nothin' er Brother Dust, he thunked him beat, but he holler out, 'Brother Dust, where'bouts is you?' An' Brother Dust, he holler back, 'Yo' hatter skusen me, I fell down in de mud an' can't run no mo'.'" End of chapter 4. Chapter 5 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Brer Rabbit's Flying Trip. Dar once was a time when most er de creeturs got mighty tired er Brer Rabbit's capers, An' dey 'semble, dey did, grass an' meat eaters, browsers an' grazers, an' likewise de bone scrapers, fer ter see what dey kin do. Brer B'ar wuz dar wid his big fur suit on, an' ol' Brer Wolf fetched his big howl along, an' when eve'ything wuz ready, wid a long, loud hoot on, here come ol' Simon Swamp Owl along, a tootin' of his too whoot. Dar wuz ol' Brer Fox, suh, wid his black socks, suh, an' a heap er creeturs dat I don't hatter mention, some bow legged an' some knock kneed in de hocks, suh, an' dey all 'greed fer ter hol' a convention fer ter stop Brer Rabbit's pranks. Brer Fox, he 'low he'll gi' a pot er gol', suh, ter de man what kin toll Brer Rabbit off, suh. Brer Buzzard say, "I'm a gittin' ol', suh, but I'll try my han'," an' den he cough, suh, an' de rest un um bowed der thanks. Now ol' Brer B'ar wuz a settin' on de chair, suh, so he stan' up an' move a motion. He up an' 'low, "Le's ersoves right here, suh, fer ter thank Brer Buzzard whiles we're in de notion, an' not put it off ter some yuther day." An' den dey had it up an' down, suh, 'sputin' 'bout what dey oughter do. Some wanter gi' 'im a flower crown, suh, ef he rid Brer Rabbit up dar in de blue, an' drap 'im when he got half way. Dey sont a runner atter ol' Brer Rabbit ter ax 'im ter call an' ter 'ten' de convention, but ol' friend Wobble Nose had a queer habit er knowin' a thing befo' it wuz mention, an' he come 'fo' he got de word. He wiggle his nose an' wunk his eye. "Here sho is de man I wants ter see, suh. Brer Buzzard, I'm tryin' ter learn how ter fly." An' co'se Brer Buzzard gi' his agree, suh, an' all un um say he's a 'commodatin' bird. An' den Brer Buzzard half spread his wings, suh. He try ter look young, but he wuz ol', suh. He try ter strut an' walk wid a swing, suh. He wuz dreamin' 'bout dat pot er gol', suh, an' what he wuz gwine fer ter buy. Brer Buzzard ain't skacely got thoo wid his pride, suh, 'fo' Brer Rabbit lit right 'tween his floppers, wid "Now hump yo'se'f an' gimme a ride, suh. Ef you don't I'll hit you some whoppers when I git you up dar in de sky." Well, de creeturs grinned when Brer Rabbit riz, suh, an' made a big fuss accordin' ter der natur. Ez fer ol' Brer Rabbit, de pleasure wuz all his, suh. De ridin' wuz easy ez eatin' tater when it's b'iled an' made inter pie. 'Kaze under bofe wings he had a paw, suh, an' when Brer Buzzard try fer ter drap 'im, he'd scratch an' tickle 'im wid his claw, suh, an' when Brer Buzzard try fer ter flap 'im, he'd scratch an' wink his eye. An' wid his claws he tuck an' steered 'im fum post ter pillar in de deep blue, suh. He'd holler an' laugh, all de creeturs heerd 'im. You know how you'd feel ef it had been you, suh, a waitin' fer some un ter fall. When ol' Brer Rabbit got tired er ridin', he steered Brer Buzzard right straight ter de groun', suh, an' den an' dar went right inter hidin'. When de creeturs come up, he couldn't be foun', suh, an' I 'speck an' I reckon dat's all. End of chapter 5. Chapter 6 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Brer Rabbit and the Gold Mine. There had been a silence in the cabin for a long 10 minutes, and Uncle Remus, looking up, saw a threat of sleep in the little boy's eyes. Whereupon he plunged headlong into a story without a word of explanation. "Well, suh, one year it fell out dat de craps wuz burned. A dry drought had done de work, an' ef you'd 'a' struck a match anywhar in dat settlement, de whole county would 'a' blazed up. Ol' man Hungriness, he natchully tuck up his clothes an' went paradin' 'roun' eve'ywhar, an' de creeturs got bony an' skinny. Ol' Brer B'ar done better dan any un um, 'kaze all he hatter do wuz go ter sleep an' live off his own fat. An' Brer Rabbit an' his ol' 'oman had put some calamus root by, an' saved up some sugar cane dat dey find lyin' 'roun' loose, an' dey got 'long purty well. But de balance er de creeturs was dat gaunt dat dey ain't got over it down to dis day. De creeturs had de meetin' place whar dey could all set 'roun' an' talk de kinder politics dey had, des like folks does at de crossroad grocery. One day, while dey wuz all settin' an' squattin' 'roun' jowerin' an' confabbin', Brer Rabbit he up an' say, sezee, dat ol' Mammy Big Money tol' his great gran'daddy dat der wuz a mighty big an' fat gol' mine in deze parts, an' he say dat he wouldn't be 'tall 'stonished ef 'twa'n't somewhar close ter Brer B'ar's house. Brer B'ar, he growled, he did, an' he say dat gol' mine better not let him find it, kaze atter he got done wid it, dey wouldn't be no gol' mine dar. Some laughed, some grinned, an' some gapped, an' atter jowerin' some mo', dey all put out ter whar dey famblies wuz livin' at. But I boun' you dey ain't fergit 'bout dat gol' mine, kaze fum dat time on, go whar you mought, you'd ketch some er de creeturs diggin' an' gravelin' in de groun', some in de fields, some in de woods, an' some in de big road, an' dey wuz so weak an' hongry dat dey kin skacely gabble fer fallin' down. Well, dis went on fer de longest, but bimeby one day dey all 'gree dat sump'n bleeze ter be done, an' dey say dey'll all take one big hunt fer de gol' mine an' den quit. Dey hunted in gangs, wid de gangs not fur fum one an'er, an' it so happen dat Brer Rabbit wuz in de gang wid Brer Wolf, an' he know'd dat he hatter keep his eyes wide open. All de creeturs hatter dig in diff'nt places, an' whiles Brer Rabbit wa'n't much uv a grabber, he had a way er makin' de yuthers b'lieve dat he wuz de best er de lot. So he made a heap er motion like he wuz t'arin' up de yearth. Dey ain't been gwine on dis long befo' Brer Wolf holler out, 'Run here, Brer Rabbit, I done foun' it!' Brer B'ar an' Brer Fox wuz bofe diggin' close by, an' Brer Rabbit kinder wunk one eye at de elements, an' he say, sezee, 'Glad I fer yo' sake, Brer Wolf, git yo' gol' an' joy fer yo'se'f.' Brer Wolf say, 'Come git some, Brer Rabbit, come git some.' Ol' Brer Rabbit 'spon', 'I'll take de leavin's, Brer Wolf, you take what you want, an' den when you got enough, I'll git de little bit I want.' Brer Wolf say, 'I wanter show you sump'n.' Brer Rabbit 'low, 'My eyes ain't big fer nothin'.' Brer Wolf say, 'I got a secret I wanter tell you.' Brer Rabbit 'low, 'My years ain't long fer nothin'. Des stan' dar an' do yo' whisperin', Brer Wolf, an' I'll hear ev'y word you say.' Brer Wolf ain't say nothin' but make out he's grabbin', an' den all uv a suddent he make a dash at Brer Rabbit, but when he git whar Brer Rabbit wuz at, Brer Rabbit ain't dar no mo'. He done gone. Weak an' hongry ez he is, Brer Wolf know dat he can't ketch Brer Rabbit, an' so he holler out, 'What's yo' hurry, Brer Rabbit? Whar you gwine?' Brer Rabbit holler back, 'I'm gwine home atter a bag fer ter tote de gol' you gwine leave me. So long, Brer Wolf, I wish you mighty well,' an' wid dat he put out fer home." End of chapter 6. Chapter 7 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Brer Rabbit gets Brer Fox a hoss. Not many er de creeturs wuz fond er water, unless it mought 'a' been Brer Coon's daughter. Brer B'ar, Brer Fox, an' ol' Brer Rabbit, dey vow dat dey can't never git in de habit er wadin' de creek er swimmin' de river. When it come ter dat, dey'd run ter kiver. When folks come 'long fer ter git across, de creeturs tuck notice dat dey rid a hoss. Brer Fox, he say he wish he had one, an' 'mongst all de yuthers he'd be de glad one. He git a bridle an' a bran new saddle, an' git on de hoss an' ride 'im straddle. He say, sezee, he do some trottin', kaze when I git started I'm a mighty hot un. Brer Rabbit, he smole a great big smile, wid, 'I can't ride myse'f, kaze I got a bile.' but it seems like to me dat I knows whar a hoss is. He's away back yon where two roads crosses, an' I'll meet you dar termorrer mornin', des about de time when day's a dawnin'.' Brer Fox, he say, 'I hear yo' sesso, an' ef I ain't sick, I'll be dar desso.' Brer Rabbit tip his hat wid 'So long, friend, we'll get de hoss, you may depend.' Long 'fo' de time, Brer Rabbit wuz a stirrin', an' he chuckle ter hisse'f like a cat a purrin'. De hoss wuz stretched out asleep in de pastur'. Brer Rabbit went up ez close ez he daster, fer ter see ef he 'live. Hoss twitch his tail, suh. 'Dis time we'll git you widout fail, suh.' So Brer Rabbit say den he seed Brer Fox, an' a nur fine gent fer ter git in a box. Den he say out loud, 'Good luck done sont 'im, an' laid 'im down right whar you want 'im. Ef youer tied ter his tail, you kin sholy hol' 'im, an' mo' dan dat, you kin trip 'im an' roll 'im.' So said, so done, an' dar Brer Fox wuz, right close ter de place whar a heap er hawks wuz. Brer Rabbit, he holler, 'Hol' 'im down! Hol' 'im down!' Dis make 'im stay right spang on de groun'. De hoss, he riz wid a snort an' a whicker, an' showed dat he wuz sump'n uv a kicker. An' den an' dar, Brer Rabbit 'gun ter snicker, wid, 'Hol' 'im, Brer Fox, 'twon't do ter flicker. Ef you make 'im stan' still, you kin ride 'im de quicker.' De hoss, he r'arin' an' raise a mighty dust up, an' fust thing you know, Brer Rabbit hear a bust up. I hope, Brer Fox, dat you ain't much hurt, but yo' wife will be mad, 'kase you done tored yo' shirt." End of chapter 7. Chapter 8 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Brer Rabbit finds the moon in the mill pond. Oh, one bright day in de middle er May, Brer Rabbit wuz feelin' fine. He tuck to de road an' never knowed de place whar he wuz gwine. "Oh, fur an' free," sezee, siree, "no gal kin change my min'." Brer Tarrypin sly, he wunk one eye underneath his green gourd vine. He holler an' say, "Whar you gwine dis day wid yo' pipe an' walkin' cane?" Brer Rabbit wave his han' like a gal do her fan. "My heart's 'bout ter bust wid pain. I'm a heap too nice, I ain't laughed but twice sence de big Janawary rain. My day'll be done ef I don't have some fun, dey'll call me Sunday Jane. I'll git sollum colic ef I don't have a frolic, my head'll get flabby an' swink. I'll chaw de pine bud, kaze I'm 'bout ter lose my cud, an' some nights I don't sleep a wink. Ef I has ter sit still, oh, I'll wear de green willow an' go in mournin' wid de mink. But I bet you a hat dat 'fo' I does dat, I'll show 'em all a new kink." So off he put on his nimble's foot, wid a grin, a laugh, an' a cough. To Miss Mott's an' Miss Meadows an' all de udders he tell what is gwine ter come off. 'Twuz a mill pond fishin', an' he lef' um a wishin' dat de win' don't blow fum de norf. An' de creeturs all befo' long an' tall, an' dem no bigger dan a dwarf. Brer Wolf an' Brer B'ar all say dey'd be dar, an' dey promise fer ter fetch a seine. Dey 'gree ter de day, an' Brer Rabbit say dat day don't hatter come ef it rain. So said, so done, an' when de time come, de big road ez well ez de lane wuz fill wid a crowd, all talkin' out loud, an' a prankin' wid might an' main. Brer Rabbit wuz dar, wid Miss Holly Har', a waitin' fer de fun ter begin. He shuck his shank an' went ter de bank, an' made like he gwine ter jump in. But de sight he saw made him drap his jaw, an' break up a great big grin. He say ter Brer Coon, "Run here an' see de moon a floatin' widout a fin." He look agin, she sho fell in, an' we got ter git her out. Ef she stays in de pon', it's good by John, an' uv dat dey ain't no doubt. We got ter have light when we play at night, fer ter see how ter git about. We'll drag wid de scene, ef we don't drag in vain, we'll have good reason ter shout. But when it comes ter singin', der wuz some complainin' 'bout who wuz ter do it all. Dey all make out dat dey want ter wade out, but it fell on dem dat wuz tall. Brer B'ar he laugh ez he tuck a staff. Brer Wolf say he fear he'd fall, but he tuck his place wid a mighty wry face. An' when dey 'gun ter haul, "Oh, you better bet dis water's wet! I feel des like a sponge!" An' den dey all, wid a kick an' a squall, wid a squeal an' den a lunge, grabbed at de water, which dey hadn't oughter, went over der heads wid a splunge. Brer Rabbit bent double. "Oh, all er yo' trouble fills me full er fun, yun, yun, yun!" End of chapter 8. Chapter 9 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. How Mr. Lion Lost His Wool. 'Twas des such a day as dis dat Mr. Lion lost his wool, remarked Uncle Remus to the little boy. Mr. Man tuck a notion dat de time done come fer him fer ter have a hog killin', an' he got 'im a big barrel an' fill it half full er water fum de big springs. Den he piled up 'bout a cord er wood, an' ez he piled he put rocks 'twix' de logs, an' den he sot de wood after an' befo'ds an' in de middle. 'Twa'n't long 'fo' dey had de hogs kilt an' eve'ything ready fer ter scrape de har off. Den he tuck de red hot rocks what he put in de fire an' flung um in de barrel whar de water wuz, an' 'twa'n't long mo' 'fo' dat water wuz ready fer ter bile. Den dey tuck de hogs, one at a time, an' soused um in de water, an' time dey tuck um out, his ha'r wuz ready fer ter drap out by de roots. Den dey'd scrape um wid sticks an' chips, an' dey ain't leave a har on um. Well, bimeby dey had all de hogs kilt an' cleaned an' hauled off, an' when eve'ything wuz still ez a settin' hen, ol' Brer Rabbit stuck his head out fum behime a bush whar he been settin' at. He stuck his head out, he did, an' look all 'roun', an' den he went whar de fire wuz, an' try fer ter warm hisse'f. He ain't been dar long, 'fo' here come Brer Wolf an' Brer Fox, an' den he got busy. He say, "Hello, frien's, howdy an' welcome! I'm des fixin' fer ter take a warm baff like Mr. Man gi' his hogs. Won't you jine me?" Dey say dey ain't in no hurry, but dey help Brer Rabbit put de hot rocks in de barrel, an' dey watch de water bubble, an' bimeby, when eve'ything wuz ready, who should walk up but ol' Mr. Lion. He had a mane fum his head plumb ter de een' er his tail, an' in some places it wuz so long it drug on de groun'. Dat what make all de creeturs fear'd un 'im. He growled an' ax um what dey doin', an' when Brer Rabbit tell 'im, he say dat's what he long been needin'. "How does you git in?" "Des back right in," says ol' Brer Rabbit, sezee, an' wid dat Mr. Lion backed in, an' de water wuz so hot he try fer ter git out, an' he slipped in plumb ter his shoulder blades. You kin b'lieve me er not, but dat creetur wuz scalded so dat he hollered an' skeered eve'ybody fer miles aroun'. An' when he come out, all de wool drapped out, 'cep' de bunch you see on his neck an' de little bit you fin' on de een' er his tail, an' dat'd come off ef de tail hadn't 'a' slipped thoo de bung hole er de barrel. With that Uncle Remus closed his eyes, but not so tightly that he couldn't watch the little boy. For a moment the child said nothing, and then, "I must tell that tale to mother before I forget it." So saying, he ran out of the cabin as fast as his feet could carry him, leaving Uncle Remus shaking with laughter. End of chapter 9. Chapter 10 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain, recorded by Phil Chenevert. How Brer Rabbit Got a House. Oh, once 'pon a time, all de creeturs tuck a notion dat dey'd build a house, an' fix it so ez ter keep out de skeeters, an' fix it up nix cummy rouse. Dey all wuz dar, fum de b'ar ter de 'possum, Brer Wolf, Brer Fox, Brer Coon, wid ol' Brer Rabbit fer ter standin' 'roun' an' boss 'em, 'kase dey hatter have de house right soon. Brer Rabbit, he wuz busy, oh yes, mighty busy, not doin' of a blessed thing. Ef he climb de scaffold, he say he'll git dizzy, so he measure an' mark an' sing. Dey built de house, an' it sho wuz a fine un, made er poplar an' oak an' pine. De littles' room wuz a 7x9 un, whar de sick could go an' whine. Brer Rabbit, he wait, an' when de time come, he chosen a upsta'r room, an' dar he sot, ef I kin make de rhyme come, a singin' hark fum de tomb. An' den he got what he ain't had oughter, ez all de creeturs said, a gun, a cannon, an' a tub er water, an' hid um under his bed. When de creeturs come home, Brer Rabbit wuz ready, an' he tell 'em he gwineter set down. "Well, set," says dey, "an' we'll try ter be stiddy." An' wid dat, Brer Rabbit kinder frown. Bang, bang went de gun, de barrels wuz double, an' de creeturs wuz still ez mice. Brer B'ar, he say, "Dey mus' be some trouble, but I hope he don't loosen de j'ist." Brer Rabbit, he say, "Wharbouts mus' I spit at?" An' Brer Wolf answer wid a grin, "Des wharsomever you kin make it hit at." Brer Fox, he rub his chin. Brer Rabbit, he tuck de tub er water an' empty it all on de stars, an' it come nigh drownin' Brer Coon's daughter, an' likewise one er Brer B'ar's. Brer Rabbit say, "When I sneeze, I'll skeer you, an' I hate fer ter have it ter do." Brer Fox say, "We'll lissen an' hear you. Des go right ahead wid yo' sneeze-a-ma-doo." Boom-a-lime went de cannon, an' de creeturs dey lit out thoo winder, sash, an' do', any way dat dey kin git out, an' dey ain't come dar no mo'. End of chapter 10. Chapter 11 of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Brer Rabbit and the Partridge Nest. Oh, what's de matter wid de whippoorwill, dat she sets an' cries on de fudder hill? An' what's de matter wid Miss Bob White, dat she choke herse'f wid sayin' good night? You know mighty well dat sump'n is wrong when dey sets an' sings dat kinder song. Twix a call an' a cry, twix a weep an' a wail, dey mus' be tellin' a mighty sad tale. Miss Whippoorwill's troubles an' what she say will do fer ter tell some yuther day. But Miss Bob White, my, ain't she a sight? I'll hatter tell you why she hollers good night. There once wuz a time, needer mo' ner less, when she ain't try ter hide ner kiver her nest. She built it in de open, whar all kin see, an' wuz des ez polite ez she kin be. She'd make her house facin' east an' west, an' den wid eggs she'd fill her nes'. Fer ter keep 'em warm, she'd brood an' set, an' keep her house fum gittin' wet. Whiles dis gwine on, Brer Rabbit come by, a wigglin' his mouf an' a blinkin' his eye. "De top er de mornin', Miss Bob," sezee. "De same ter you, Brer Rabbit," sez she. Sez ol' Brer Rabbit, "I been missin' you long. I wuz mighty fear'd dat sump'n wuz wrong. But here you set ez still ez a mouse, not doin' nothin' but keepin' house." "Oh, well," sez she, "I'm too ol' ter gad. I useter do it, but I wish I never had. De on'y thing I want is ter wash my dress, but I can't do dat whiles I'm on my nes'." Brer Rabbit, he say, "Can't I help you out? I ain't doin' nothin' but walkin' about, an' my ol' 'oman is willin' fer ter bet dat ef settin's de thing, I'm ol' man set." "I know mighty well," says Miss Bob White, "ef you set a tall, it'll be done right."
Thank you do, Miss Bob. Go wash yo' dress, an' I'll do what I can fer ter cover your nes'." So off she put, wid a flutter an' a flirt, an' washed her dress in a pile er clean dirt. Brer Rabbit sees de eggs an' shook his head, his mouf 'gun ter dribble an' his eye turn red. Sezee, "It'd sholy be hard fer ter match um, so I'll take um home an' try fer ter hatch um." So said, so done, an' den when he come back, he come in a gate 'twix' a lope an' a rack. An' Miss Bob White, atter washin' her dress, went a runnin' back ter house an' nes'. "Much erbleege, Brer Rabbit," an' den she bowed. "Say nothin', ma'am, fer ter make me proud, 'kaze I been a waitin' here frettin' an' sweatin' for fear I ain't sech a good han' at settin'. My ol' 'oman say I got a slow fever, an' I 'clar' ter goodness I'm ready ter b'lieve her. I felt sump'n move, I heard sump'n run, an' de eggs done gone, dey ain't na'er a one. I sho is seed sights, I done hear folks talk, but never befo' I seed eggs walk." "My goodness me!" says Miss Bob White, a peepin' in de nes', "you sho is right." An' y'ever sence den, when darkness falls, she gives de los' chillun her good night calls. An' y'ever sence den, when darkness falls, she gives de los' chillun her good night calls.
End of chapter 11. End of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris.